1, 2, 3. Interview of my Uncle Darrell, my dad's brother, on June 8th, 2008. Just recording him about his life and growing up, and maybe some insights into my father and the Kenyan family in general. So let's not only start at the beginning, Uncle Darrell, but let's go back before the beginning, and let me just find out what you know about your mom and dad and how they met. And
well, the things that I know, maybe I don't know, I've heard a little bit different, but my dad was driving a truck hauling apples for his brother. He was hauling apples down to Texas. They raised apples and sold them. And my mother was working for his other brother. These are the Williams brothers. Even though my dad's name was Kenyan, he had brothers and sisters named Williams.
oh, okay. Why is that?
Because the Williams, I guess, died, and my dad's mother married John Kenyon.
Oh, okay.
I guess that's the story I get.
Okay.
And so at any rate, John Kenyon left, and then I don't know, a couple of years after my dad, Ellery, was born, and she died, so he was raised by his half-sisters, and
Okay.
I guess that's who it was that raised him, his half-sisters.
Okay.
And possibly there was other aunts and uncles involved. I've heard stories that way too.
Uh-huh.
So.
And this was in Indiana?
No, it was in southern Illinois.
Oh, Illinois, okay.
And around Springfield.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And that was, but that's where he came from, and I guess what the Williams boys did, I don't know how they migrated to New Mexico, but they ended up there. And the reason my dad ended up there was because he joined the Army.
Oh, really?
And sometime along the way he had a dislocated shoulder that made his right arm not operable.
No kidding.
And how he got in the Army, I'll never know. But they found out that he wasn't able to do what he should be able to do in the Army, and so he was busted out of the Army in El Paso.
Really?
So he ended up up there in Santa Fe or Espanola or Tasuki, I don't know which, but
Okay.
somewhere around there. And that's when he was driving the truck hauling apples, and my mother happened to, her story is like a little bit different because she was working for one of his brothers, I think in the one that raised chickens.
Okay.
I remember the stories right. Maybe I'm wrong there, but anyway, I have pictures of them riding the horses together.
Oh, really?
Somewhere in New Mexico before they got married. So
Wow.
And then my mother was the oldest of 3 girls.
Okay, right.
My grandfather had moved from, I guess it was around Brady that he packed up and he moved to Stanley, New Mexico,
Okay.
which is southeast of Santa Fe somewhat. And I don't know how they ended up in Santa Fe. That's always been something that, for some reason or another, there wasn't anything to do in Stanley, so
Okay.
Jesse Wofford, my grandfather, went up to Santa Fe to work, and then he brought the well, I'm a little foggy in this time period
Sure.
because I don't know. My Aunt Hazel, who was the second of the girls, was stayed in Brady at one time, or went back to Brady to take nurses training in the hospital in Brady, Texas. And so she was a nurse when I met her, and was always a nurse.
Okay.
Even when she died, she was a nurse. So,
Uh-huh.
but yeah, back to my mother and dad. They got married in 27? I think it was sometime in June 1927.
Okay.
And then Merrill was born in December of 1928. And then I came along in November of 1930. And they lived in an apartment in Santa Fe. And I guess they figured out a way to save up enough money to buy a lot there in Santa Fe and build a 2-room house. And they had, I remember stories about the guy that hauled the adobes and what they paid for the adobes to build
really?
the house. I think he paid $10 1,000.
Wow.
And this old guy named Primo, he had a 1-horse wagon. He delivered the adobes.
Oh, really?
And
In a wagon,
in
no
a
less.
wagon.
My goodness.
So this was okay. This house was like I said. It had a bedroom and a bathroom and a kitchen and a hall that connected all of them. So that's all there was to it. And
Right.
then, well, later on in the years, they built 3 more rooms on it, or, well, basically 3 more rooms. And my grandfather, Jesse Wofford, did a lot of the carpentry work and everything in the house. All the woodwork and all that kind of stuff. But after so many years, they decided that the house needed plaster.
Mm-hmm.
So, or needed something. So they decided to put river rocks on it.
Okay.
And this is real easy to say, but it doesn't work that easy. You got to go find the river rocks first, and then you got to bring them in, and then you got to pick the right ones to lay where and all of that.
Uh-huh.
So my dad started this project. I don't know how. When he started it, I know that I helped him a lot of times.
Oh, okay.
Mixing the cement
So your dad
handed
did
him
it.
rocks and all that stuff. So,
And how old were you? Do you remember?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I was probably old enough to know better or something. I probably griped about it, but yeah, I know both Merrill and I helped him, and quite often, because the only time he had time to do it was on the weekends.